Hello.
ते वेटिंग रूम मध्ये आहेत.
जॉईन करून घ्या मॅम त्यांना. मी इकडे युट्यूबवर आहे. तुम्ही जॉईन करून घ्या. जस्ट मिनिट, फक्त एकदा युट्यूबचं
हा.
सुरू झालं की मोकळा होतो. मलाही करून घ्या जॉईन त्याच्यावर. मी पण एका ठिकाणी जॉईन होतो.
हा, मी इन्व्हाइट ऑल केलं.
येस. ओके
ते ग्रुप मध्ये आहेत.
ओके, त्यांना जॉईन करून घ्या. कोण आहेत ते? आहेत ते.
गुप्ते सर जॉईन होत आहेत. त्यांच्या काहीतरी याच्यामध्ये प्रॉब्लेम आला कनेक्शन मध्ये, म्हणून ते आता हॉस्पिटलला जाऊन चालू करतायत.
जॉईन करून घ्या मॅम त्यांना. मी इकडे युट्यूबवर आहे. तुम्ही जॉईन करून घ्या. जस्ट मिनिट, फक्त एकदा युट्यूबचा सुरू झालं की मोकळा होतो. मलाही करून घ्या जॉईन त्याच्यावर. मी पण एका ठिकाणी जॉईन होतो.
हा, मी इन्व्हाइट ऑल केलं.
येस. जस्ट हा सुरू झालाय आयुष युट्यूबवर.
मीटिंग इज बिंग लाईव्ह स्ट्रीम असं आलंय ना.
हा, आलंय.
आलाय लाईव्ह स्ट्रीमिंग सुरू झालंय. लाईव्ह स्ट्रीमिंग हॅज स्टार्टेड.
गुप्ते सर पण आलेत आता.
Should I start?
येस प्लीज.
जस्ट अ
Good
मिनिट मॅम.
evening.
जस्ट
सुरू करा मॅडम.
Good evening,
येस मॅम, सुरू
everyone.
करा.
Esteemed members of the medical fraternity, distinguished guests, and august gathering. We have gathered here today to celebrate Doctors' Day, a day dedicated to honoring the remarkable contributions and relentless dedication of doctors across the globe. I, Dr. Shubhangi Mundada, am privileged to welcome you all to this special occasion organized by the Medico-Legal Society of India. We are particularly honored to have with us today a distinguished guest, Dr. Jacob Mathew. Can I have a big round of applause for him? Now I invite Dr. Lalit Kumar to formally introduce Dr. Jacob Mathew.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, thank you everyone for giving me the privilege to introduce the chief guest of today's ceremony. First of all, I am thankful to Almighty for giving us courage and spirit to arrange this glorified event. His blessing has turned this event into a grand success. I, on behalf of my team members and all the organizers, including Dr. G.C. Ma'am and Dr. A.V. Babu sir, pass my warmest welcome to all the audience who are participating online. I would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished chief guest, who is none other than Dr. Jacob Mathew, a thorough gentleman whose exceptional quality of resilience, unwavering ability to show kindness, love and compassion to others, and to understand their emotions and perspective proved a milestone for us. We feel privileged, sir, to have you here tonight and look forward to hearing your invaluable insights. Before I move ahead, I would like to recite an Urdu couplet for you. मुखालिफ है तो जिंदा है, मीन्स विरोधी है तो जिंदा है. मुखालिफ है तो जिंदा है, तुझे कम जानने वाला, अगर तुझको समझ लेगा तो तुझ पर जान दे देगा. Meaning thereby, a person who knows nothing about you is alive because he is acting just like an opponent. Once he understands as to what you are, he will be yours once forever. As regards to his academic career, he has been an alumnus of almost all the prestigious institutions of this country. One may envy for. Right from his schooling from Oak Grove School, Missouri, and Maharaja's College, Ernakulam, he joined Calicut Medical College for graduation. Then went to Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, for post-graduation in surgery. In the year 2000, he completed MCH in pediatric surgery from Christian Medical College, Vellore. And after that, he successfully pursued diploma in international healthcare management from University of Cambridge. He is a pediatric surgeon par excellence. Served for 2 years as associate consultant at KSUMC Riyadh and just retired in 2023. He left India in 2008 and till 2019 served at Esther Sanad Hospital, a tertiary care hospital, as a senior consultant. Prior to that, after the famous verdict of Supreme Court of India in the year 2005, as a proud owner, he joined a 850-bedded medical trust hospital as consultant in charge, which is surprisingly bigger than the CMC Ludhiana hospital. From 2001 to 2005, he was a consultant in Golden Jubilee Mission Hospital, in KG Hospital of our GC ma'am, Laxor Hospital, PBS Hospital, and so on. After his MCH, he also served his alma mater, that is CMC Ludhiana, as a lecturer for more than a year. It is interesting to note, despite all the turmoil in his early life, as a postgraduate student, he never took a break in his academic career. Deserves a big applause. Apart from you, sir, there were some more persons and gadgets necessary for the landmark judgment. We should be thankful to them also. Like late Dr. Jeevan Lal Sharma, a cancer patient at his terminal stage, who was admitted there just for nursing care, unfortunately died because he was destined to live forever. Second is the empty oxygen cylinder, as if it would have been full, would have saved his life. Next is Mr. Vijay Sharma, the elder brother of the deceased, who filed the case. The other one, Dr. Ellen Joseph, who accompanied with the cylinder, remained unscathed. Lastly, the unit head and the hospital, who were to be held responsible if anything goes wrong in the hands of the student working under. And lastly, but not the least, all the three justices of Supreme Court India, we should applaud him for the judgment that is guiding our ways and will guide in the future also. Dr. Jacob, sir, your journey of 10 years remained stressful, emotionally turbulent, financially debilitating, and living in the company of fear. After the debacle at the lower court, there was none in sight to help you any further. You faced such turbulence in life, that too at the early stage when you were just a student, with so many sweet dreams. Due to this case, nobility of the profession got due legal recognition. We can palpate now. How did you control your impulses, emotions, and desires, and to act with modesty, prudence, and forgiveness? You provided us the ability to share one's time, resources, and talents with others, and to appreciate with what one has. With this, I hand over the stage to Dr. Subhangi ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Lalit Kumar, sir. Citation is an honor. Now I invite to honor Dr. Jacob Mathew I invite Dr. Pratibha Kane to read the citation that highlights his invaluable contributions to the medical and legal fields. Dr. Kane, please.
Thank you. It is my proud privilege to read this citation. Medico-Legal Society of India considers it a proud privilege to confer this citation award to Dr. Jacob Mathew for his courage and conviction to carry on a lone fight against an adverse and rigid system for 10 years up to the Supreme Court of India. We salute your tenacity and struggle to proceed at all costs to seek justice for criminal litigation against doctors. As a result of your personal and professional sacrifice, the doctors in India can rely on this landmark judgment, Jacob Mathew versus State of Punjab 2005, to protect them from indiscriminate legal action in criminal cases. We bestow this citation award as a token of respect and gratitude for being the beacon of light to navigate in troubled waters. On this Doctor's Day, 1st of July, 2024, we humbly request you to accept the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kane, for the wonderful citation. It is now time to felicitate Dr. Jacob Mathew for his outstanding contributions. I invite Dr. A.V. Babu, past IMA President, Kerala State, and Dr. G.C. Kurian to felicitate Dr. Mathew.
Okay, thank you. Can I start? Are you audible? Can I start?
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes,
are.
sir.
You are
Yes, sir.
audible.
Dear friends, a very good evening to all of you. First of all, I thank you all for inviting me to this auspicious occasion of Doctor's Day for felicitating and honoring one of our very dedicated, sincere colleague, Dr. Jacob Mathew. At the outset, I wish you all a very happy Doctor's Day. National Doctor's Day is celebrated on July 1st every year to commemorate the birth and death anniversary of the doyen of medical profession, Dr. B.C. Roy, Vidhan Chandra Roy. He was born on July 1st, 1882 and died on July 1st, 1962. He started Indian Medical Association, IMA, and he was the first president for 2 years. He was the founder president of Indian Medical Council, IMC, and continued for many years. He became the second Chief Minister of West Bengal and continued from 1948 to 1962 till his death. Considering his dedication and sincerity in the profession and other social activities and administration, the Government of India awarded him Bharat Ratna Award and declared July 1st as Doctor's Day to honor medical professionals across the country. Doctor's Day is celebrated with great enthusiasm throughout the country to acknowledge the remarkable achievements of doctors and their significant role in the society. All state branches and local branches of IMA celebrate Doctor's Day and honor dedicated doctors in their branches. Friends, today we are gathered here on this auspicious occasion to honor one of our very dedicated and sincere colleague, Dr. Jacob Mathew. As we all know, he fought against medico-legal cases against doctors. His Supreme Court verdict has fortified the legal protection for medical practitioners against unfounded allegations of negligence. His relentless fight has provided us all with a sense of security in our profession. We appreciate and congratulate his courage and conviction to fight against indiscriminate criminal prosecution and arrest of medical professionals. As we all know, the medical legal cases are a case of injury or an ailment in which investigations by the law enforcing agencies are essential to fix the responsibility regarding the causation of the injury or ailment. Whenever a medico-legal case comes to a doctor, we should all remember that he should immediately inform the judicial police station as provided under Section 39 of Criminal Procedure Code, failing which may result in a prosecution under Section 176 or 202 of Indian Penal Code. Friends, now I take this opportunity to congratulate and honor Dr. Jacob Mathew for his great Supreme Court practice and relentless fight against medical legal cases. Now we will honor Dr. Mathew by Dr. Gissi Kurie. Please stand up.
Yes.
We will present the citation. Okay, thank you. Now we will also give him a memento in honor of him. Now Dr. Gissi will adorn a Pannada to him.
I am honored and delighted to bestow the Pannada to honor Dr. Jacob Mathew on this Doctor's Day, July 1st, 2024. Hats off to you, Doctor, for your outstanding achievement and incredible success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will also present a check for 1 lakh rupees to Dr. Jacob Mathew.
Thank you, Dr. A.V. Babu and Dr. Gissi Kurian. Dr. Mathew, your achievements and dedication inspire us all. Dr. Mathew, your achievements and dedication inspire us all. We are eager to hear your legendary legal journey. And now I invite our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Jacob Mathew, to share his thoughts and experiences with us. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mathew with a warm round of applause.
So you can share your screen, please.
Screen share and banner.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. So you're clear.
Yes, but the screen sharing is not coming on. It seems that it is being disabled.
हाताने स्क्रीन शेअर नाही होत आहे.
Fatima, madam,
So you can take your laptop if you want.
Then we'll have to, it will take time. So, this will have to be put off.
Is your email?
If you can mail, we can share from here.
Okay.
It has been mailed, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Kane, you will be receiving the mail?
No, you receive it.
Okay, my
One-
email ID he should know.
Okay.
Can he WhatsApp on the group? I'll mail to myself. I will write down the mail ID on the group.
Madam, he is not on the group. He is not on the group.
I think he is on the group of that the special group of today's ceremony.
No.
Matthew sir, send that PPT to MLSI, Medical Legal Society of India. My email ID. I will forward it to the Shubhangi ma'am.
I have shared my email ID on the group. If you can send it to him.
PPT material.
അത് നമുക്ക് co-host ചെയ്യാം. Co-host
അവിടുന്ന്
അവിടെ നമ്മൾ co-host ചെയ്താൽ നമുക്ക് സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാം. ഹോസ്റ്റ് നമ്മൾ co-host ചെയ്യാം.
ഇപ്പൊ കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ടാവും.
Co-host, so to co-host.
No, I'm not co-host. I do not know why it is.
സർ നമ്മൾ ഹോസ്റ്റ് co-host ചെയ്താൽ നമുക്ക് സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാം. ഹോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാം.
Host not a screen share and
Sir, you are co-host now.
oh,
ഇനി
Okay. Okay. So we seem to
We
have.
can see now
Yeah.
very clearly.
Very good. We seem to have got over the technological hurdle that we faced, and finally the screen is being shared. Let me thank each one of you for having taken your time and your effort to have organized this in such a short time and in such a good way. I am really deeply honored, and it's a privilege to be among all of you to address you on this particular day. I'm especially happy that Dr. A.V. Babu and Dr. Jesse Kurin are with me. I started my career in Kerala with Dr. Jesse. So it is wonderful to be back in this company. I will now go ahead with my address. It's about lessons from an experience and moving forward. Caring hearts and healing hands is the theme for Doctors' Day this year, showcasing the compassion and commitment of doctors. It also captures the ardent desire and the idealistic dreams of each medical student when they enter the gates of a medical college. This desire and dream does not fade away. But with years of medical and surgical experience, we realize, or it is accepted, that not everything is in the doctor's hand. The outcome of a standard treatment protocol or surgical procedure may not be as expected. Sometimes it may cause harm, or life may slip away. But it has more to do with the error-prone environment in the healthcare service than a shortcoming of the doctor. But what can diminish or even extinguish the altruistic nature and the desire to do the best for every patient is a medico-legal case. When a doctor is faced with a medico-legal litigation, especially criminal prosecution, for a medical error, when there is no intention of causing harm and there is every desire to do the best for the patient, it leads to unimaginable, irreparable harm in the professional, personal, and social life. It leaves the doctor economically debilitated, professionally and socially as an outcast, emotionally and psychologically scarred for life. The incident that we are discussing today took place in February 1995. An elderly, frail gentleman with advanced case of carcinoma esophagus, with a feeding gastrostomy and aspirating on his saliva and phlegm, was admitted in the private room in a private surgical ward on the request of the relatives for terminal nursing care. I was the final year's general surgery resident in that particular unit. A couple of days after the patient was admitted, around 10:30 at night, he developed severe respiratory distress. The team members were notified, and I happened to reach the patient first. The staff had already wheeled the resuscitation trolley into the room. The ICU doctor was also available there. We immediately started resuscitative measures. During this procedure, the oxygen cylinder which was connected to the patient gave its last gasp of oxygen. The resuscitative measures were continued, and a fresh oxygen cylinder was connected to the patient. But resuscitation failed, and the patient was declared dead. The general scene was very unruly and intimidating because of a large number of policemen in the room and in the ward who had been called by the relatives. Anyway, I did not expect a criminal medical negligence case in such a situation. A month or so later, I was given notice for an FIR under Section 304A, alleging criminal medical negligence causing death by the lack of oxygen in the available oxygen cylinder. Of course, naturally, the question arises, how can I be alleged for medical negligence in such a situation, leave alone criminal medical negligence? What is the act of commission or omission that I have done to allege medical negligence? There was only deafening silence around me to my questions. There was only one way. Since I had been charged, I had to stand trial. So I took anticipatory bail and I stood on trial. For a couple of years, I walked in and out of the trial court every 6 weeks with no significant hearing taking place. It was quite clear to me that I will be doing this for the next 15 to 20 years of my life. I approached the Sessions Court to quash the proceedings in the trial court, but it was rejected. I gathered courage and resources to approach the High Court, where again I lost on the simple ruling that what has to be argued can be argued in the trial court. There is no harm for me to undergo the trial. Having lost in the High Court, I was faced with the dilemma to approach the Supreme Court, because a rejection in the Supreme Court will have far-reaching consequences for the future. It would be much easier or safer to go back to the trial court. But I took courage and I went ahead to the Supreme Court with the great fear of rejection weighing on my mind. By God's grace, though very turbulent, everything went right and I was released from my case. The Supreme Court, in its wisdom, laid down the guidelines for the prosecution of criminal medical negligence. Such incidents bring forward lessons which we often hear but do not implement. A clear communication to the patient and relatives so that there are no misgivings, there is no misunderstanding, and there are no, the expectations are realistic. From admission to discharge and beyond, from findings to prognosis, everything has to be communicated in a clear, complete, and consistent manner. But what is also important is that what is communicated should be documented. If it is not documented, then it has not been communicated or not done. Meticulous documentation will not implicate the doctor. It saves a lot of trouble for the doctor. Following an allegation of medical negligence, a doctor should not be isolated. He should not be left as an outcast. He has to be supported until there is an internal assessment which clears his name. A time-bound internal assessment should be done, the focus of which is to find the root cause and for a correction process. An honest, open discussion about the medical error should take place with the relatives and the patient. And they should be told what the corrective measures are going to be implemented. These factors will go a long way in reducing medical negligence cases in India. The main highlights of the landmark judgment were that medical negligence necessarily calls for a treatment with a difference where additional considerations apply. The standard applied for judging medical negligence is whether the standard of care and skill attained was that of the ordinary competent medical practitioner exercising an ordinary degree of professional skill. The court is not looking for the highest degree of care or the highest degree of professional skill. They just want the skill, care, and knowledge of the ordinary competent medical practitioner. To prove criminal medical negligence, recklessness in the act of commission or omission has to be established beyond reasonable doubt. In a criminal case, the intention to cause harm has to be established to prove culpability. Medical negligence or medical error is essentially an unintentional act which contradicts a criminal act. Recklessness is that state of mind where a person acts without regard to the life or safety of others. It is only when it can be proved beyond reasonable doubt that a doctor, through an act of commission or omission, has acted with total disregard to the life and safety of the patient. Whereas in the same situation or circumstances, a reasonable doctor would not have done so. Can a doctor be declared guilty of criminal medical negligence? This ruling by the Supreme Court was given, or rather this high bar for criminal medical negligence was given by the Supreme Court because it recognized that most of the incidents of medical errors which create injury to patients are medical errors or medical accidents in which the doctor may or may not be responsible. Medical errors per se are not criminal acts, but the layman can deem such errors as criminal, slapping a criminal case on the doctor with lifelong dire consequences. It is to prevent such occurrence that the Supreme Court has kept such a high bar. Chief Justice Lahoti spent a good deal of the argument dwelling on the harm to society and the harm to the doctor-patient relationship that such misconceived and vengeful acts cause. He was of the opinion that society has to be tolerant and mature, and he expects the medical profession to be responsible and noble. It is to save doctors just as much as the society that Chief Justice Lahoti laid down the guidelines for the criminal prosecution in criminal medical negligence. The guidelines for the prosecution are: the complainant has to produce a credible medical opinion from a competent doctor supporting the charge of negligence when filing an FIR. Before taking any action against the accused doctor, the investigating officer has to obtain an independent, competent medical opinion, preferably from a doctor in government service. Under ordinary circumstances, the accused doctor may not be arrested in a routine manner. Such a strong guideline, laid down by the Supreme Court it is our duty and responsibility that these guidelines should be implemented. Just 2 years ago, a young, efficient gynecologist working for the interest of the community committed suicide when a case of criminal medical negligence was filed against her. And someone phoned her up to say that the police are preparing to arrest her. This suicide highlights the fact that doctors and police officials, and in fact, in some cases, advocates, are unaware of these guidelines. We have to take steps to spread the awareness of these guidelines among doctors and police officials. In the Supreme Court guidelines, it is very evident that the security as well as the credibility of the medical profession lies in the minds and in the words of the expert medical witnesses called for medical legal cases. Hence, we should join the NMC in its efforts to improve the availability and caliber of expert medical witnesses. Recently, the Supreme Court has nudged the door open for the medical fraternity to extricate itself from the Consumer Protection Act, which has wreaked havoc on medical professionals. Again, we have to stand as a united front to ensure justice is done to us. But coming to the moot question, or to the very important question, does law actually serve its purpose when the medical profession undergoes medical litigation and especially criminal prosecution? Law and punishment is to provide a deterrence for intentional criminal acts. But medical errors, medical negligence are unintentional and unavoidable by their very nature. The incidents can be reduced by safety protocols, but the law does not provide the deterrence to prevent it. From ages, medicine has learned from medical errors and consistently improved itself through a corrective learning process. At present, medical errors are suppressed because of the fear of legal repercussions. This impedes the learning process through medical errors, which is very important for the growth of medicine. Legal proceedings do not take cognizance of the error-prone environment in healthcare services. It only looks for a scapegoat to affix blame. By the time compensation or punishment is meted out, the doctor has lost the very meaning of life, and the patient the quality of life. Hence, medical litigation, especially criminal prosecution of medical profession, does not serve the purpose. Therefore, it should be our collective vision that an extrajudicial investigation process should be, which is linked to a compensatory insurance system, not the personal indemnity insurance. The focus of such an extrajudicial investigation process should be to evaluate the medical error which has taken place, to find the root cause, and to inculcate a dialogue, to improve the dialogue of medical errors in order to find the corrective learning process, and not necessarily to fix blame and punishment on individuals. This will lead only the truly criminal medical negligence for the courts. If we achieve our vision, it may help to provide affordable health care. One of the legacies of Dr. B.C. Roy, in whose name we celebrate Doctors' Day, is affordable health care. An extrajudicial investigation process will be beneficial to the patients. It will also restore the healthy relationship between doctors and patients based on trust. It has been successfully implemented in countries, but we will have to build our own intrinsic system. If we can lay down the foundational framework for such an extrajudicial investigation process, the next generation of doctors and patients will definitely benefit from it. I strongly believe in an extrajudicial investigation process for a healthy medical community and a vibrant society. Thank you very much for your patient listening. And may God bless you all for your generosity that you have shown. This is the iconic Chinese fishing net in Kochi, my hometown. Thank you once and to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Mathew, for your insightful and inspiring words. We are truly grateful for your presence here today and for sharing your valuable experience with us. Dr. Rajiv Joshi wants to share his thoughts. Dr. Rajiv Joshi, please.
Where my slides were visible?
Sir.
No, sir. No, sir. Now?
Slide.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Yes. We can see.
It's not full screen.
I think there is some connectivity issue. Dr. Nauranga, can you please share the slides and take over? Dr. Nauranga, sir, please.
Okay. Are they visible now?
Yes, sir.
And I hope it is full screen also.
No, sir, it is not. It is not full screen.
Not full screen.
Now
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
now it is full screen.
Okay. So on behalf of Dr. Raju Joshi, whose brilliant idea is to felicitate the stalwarts in the field of medical legal issues, and last year we were fortunate to have felicitation of Dr. MC Gupta, and this time is none other than Jacob Matthews. Sir, I would like to mention just one thing, is that you have given the very good insights to what should be done, what should happen in the interest of the society at large. And number two, I'm really happy that you are not frustrated totally at the whole episode which occurred to you as a young student, and then you had to fight out all these years. I hope the institutes where you worked were with you and backing you. That is one thing which we ought to do, all of us, that wherever required, we should all support such cause. So Dr. Joshi is in UK, and maybe there is a connectivity problem, and that's why I'm just taking over his slides. It's all the brainchild of Dr. Raju Joshi. So this case, for those who may not be knowing in detail, but actually all those working in the field are, but there could be students or doctors who are not aware of the medical legal issues. For them, a little recapitulation of the whole event, that the part of the judgment is so encouraging for the medical fraternity that I would just read them out sentence by sentence. That no sensible professional would intentionally commit an act or omission which would result in the loss or injury to the patient, as the professional reputation of the person is at stake. A single failure may cost him dear in his career. Even in civil jurisdiction, the rule of res ipsa loquitur is not of universal application and has to be applied with the extreme care and caution to the cases of professional negligence, and in particular that of the doctors. Else it would be counterproductive. Simply because a patient has not favorably responded to the treatment given by a physician or a surgeon, or the surgery has failed, the doctor cannot be held liable per se by applying the doctrine of res ipsa loquitur. I'm not able to see it fully. Okay. So long as it is not done, so they have said that you should frame certain rules to charge the doctor criminally. So till then, the Supreme Court, we mean Supreme Court, proposes to lay down certain guidelines for the future, which should govern the prosecution of doctors for offences of which criminal rashness or criminal negligence is an ingredient. A private complaint may not be entertained unless the complainant has produced prima facie evidence before the court in the form of a credible opinion given by another competent doctor to support the charge of rashness or negligence on the part of the accused doctor. The investigating officer should, before proceeding against the doctor accused of rash or negligent act or omission, obtain an independent and competent medical opinion, preferably from a doctor in government service qualified in that branch of medical practice, who can normally be expected to give an impartial and unbiased opinion, applying the Bolam's test to the facts collected in the investigation. A doctor accused of rashness or negligence may not be arrested in a routine manner simply because of a charge has been leveled against him, unless his arrest is necessary for furthering the investigation or for collecting the evidence, or unless the investigating officer feels satisfied that the doctor proceeded against would not make himself available to face the prosecution unless arrested, the arrest may be withheld. So arrest is an exception and not the rule. This order has not been implemented till today. That means the guidelines should be formed by either government, state or center with the help of medical councils. Dr. Jacob Mathews is the only person who has perfect locus standi to request the Honorable Supreme Court to pass revised guidelines so that a doctor of Supreme Court, the order of the Supreme Court is implemented by all the states. In 2005, another judgment, Lalita Kumari versus State of UP, the Supreme Court has given the guidelines for preliminary inquiry before filing the FIR. And this came in 2015 in certain circumstances, which include the medical negligence cases also. So what it says is that before arresting the special category of cases, Lalita Kumari, that judgment does not talk about the need of medical committee opinion before filing the FIR. So Jacob Mathew's judgment says the opinion of a medical expert competent person or a committee, whereas it says that it is not required. So this has led to the different standard operating procedures in different states, and some states do not have any SOP for handling the issue. Doctors are threatened or arrested by the police for filing charges under Section 302 of Indian Penal Code. Now the things have changed after Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, so section might have changed. So which will change this section. So for this 304A, now it is corresponding section in under BNS, that is Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, is 106 into bracket 1. So Dr. Archana Sharma, what Dr. Jacob Mathews mentioned, this particular case, but not the name, was the wife of Dr. Sunit Upadhyay, who committed suicide in Kota because she could not handle this pressure. With revised BNS provisions, more doctors will not be able to sustain the pressure of litigation. And what are the negative points of that is a separate topic by itself, which we'll be covering sometime later. So does the Supreme Court, these are the thoughts of Dr. Raju Joshi or maybe all the members of the MLSI, that does the Supreme Court want another doctor to end own life before it can make the government to change the acts as per the 2005 guidelines? I think another judgment we can make a little mention about, and even in the Jacob Mathews judgment, it has been mentioned that Dr. Raju Gupta's case, which came exactly in 2004, 1 year before this Jacob Mathews case. And there was a big hue and cry in the local newspapers and all across the country also, whether the doctors, this judgment is wrong, saying that doctors cannot be touched by criminal law at all. And in this judgment itself, it has been made very clear that we do not intend to say that doctors are beyond criminal law, but in these circumstances, this should not be applied or certain precautions should be taken. Other option for doctors is to go on strike, and then the courts would blame the doctors themselves. So in Marathi, there is a very famous poet, Vinda Karandikar. I will pronounce it in Marathi and also get the translation done by Dr. Raju Joshi. इतिहासाचे अवघड ओझे डोक्यावर घेऊन ना नाचा, करा पदस्थल त्याचे आणिक चढून त्यावर भविष्य वाचा. Don't let the heavy burden of the past history get into your head. Mount on it to attain new position so that you can visualize the future. I think that is what is precisely done by Dr. Jacob Mathews. Medical Legal Society has made, will file a PIL for getting the directions from the Supreme Court for implementation of the judgment of, in case of Dr. Jacob Mathews versus State of Punjab in all the states in the country, revised in the light of Lalita Kumari judgment. So with this, the expression of Dr. Raju Joshi has been uttered by me, but thoughts are all, I think we are all together, and I would appreciate this particular day, that Doctors' Day, 1st of July, is also the day where new criminal law has been implemented and has come in effect in India. And maybe certain clauses, I'm afraid, they are more deadly against the medical fraternity. So with these comments, I stop my screen sharing as well as my talk. How to stop this?
Thank you, Dr. Raju Joshi. That was a great expression of thoughts. Thank you, Dr. Naurangi, for representing Dr. Joshi. Now, as we conclude this part of our event, I would like to invite Dr. Sanjay Gupte to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Mundada. This has been a wonderful experience, and I have a pleasant duty not only of thanking everyone, but bringing forward some of the great points that have been achieved by this particular session. First of all, let me do the duty of thanking everyone. Of course, our chief guest, Dr. Jacob Mathews, whose valiant legal fight has shown us the way. And today, in his speech, what he brought out, not only through his experience, but what should be done in the future. And I'm sure all the members of MLSI are definitely be wanting to follow that guideline and take this forward so that the extrajudicial tribunals may come into being and the doctors are not harassed unnecessarily. I would also like to thank Dr. K.V. Babu and Dr. Kurian for personally participating and personally felicitating Dr. Jacob Mathews. I would like to thank Dr. Lalit Kumar for wonderful introduction and initiating this thought. And I would also like to thank Mundada Madam for a great, comparing and hosting this particular session. And of course, Dr. Rajiv Joshi, whose thought this is for felicitating on this Doctor's Day, wonderful and eminent persons like Dr. Jacob Mathews and last year Dr. M.C. Gupta. I think this tradition is worth following and this will help us in further guidance of whatever. I would also like to thank Dr. Naurange, Dr. Pratibha Karni and Dr. Kathur who have participated relentlessly and brought this function together. And finally, I think the message is we should not leave it just at this felicitation. We must learn from what Dr. Mathews fought for and the new Nyaya Samhita that has come in. We need to try and alter this and make sense of it for the doctors. And as Dr. Mathews said, for the future generation, it should not be a discouragement for coming into the medical practice that, one faces the litigation and especially criminal litigation. And it's our duty to see that things are taken forward and fought further to bring justice to many of the doctors like Archana Upadhyay, who lost her life in the very tragic situation. So thank you all. And I think this has been a very fruitful session altogether. And it's wonderful to have people like Professor Jacob Mathews to be with us for this further a kind of a fight for all the doctors of the next generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
And let's continue to celebrate and support each other in our noble profession. And now I request Dr. Gupta to declare that the meeting is adjourned.
Yes. Thank you all. And I think this was a wonderful, wonderful session. And let's be all together, not just finish this session, but start a new session on this 1st of July with wonderful message from Dr. Jacob Mathews. Thank you so much.
It was really a wonderful message and nice meeting everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khator, for supporting throughout.
YouTube, please off kara.